Episode number 382. Ah, this is too much. Cried Buckingham, making a step towards the door. Felton bade his passage. I ask it humbly of you, my lord, said he. Sign the oath of the liberation of Milady de Winter. Remember that she is a woman whom you have dishonored. Withdraw, sir, said Buckingham, or I will call my attendant, and have you placed in irons. You shall not call, said Felton, throwing himself between the Duke and the bell placed on a stand encrusted with silver. Beware, my lord, you are in the hands of God. In the hands of the devil, you mean? Cried Buckingham, raising his voice so as to attract the notice of his people, without absolutely shouting. Sign, my lord, sign the liberation of Milady de Winter, said Felton, holding out a paper to the Duke. By force? You are joking. Hello, Patrick. Sign, my lord. Never. Never. Help! Shouted the Duke, and at the same time he sprang toward his sword. But Felton did not give him time to draw it. He held the knife with which Milady had stabbed herself, open in his bosom. At one bound he was upon the Duke. At that moment Patrick entered the room, crying, "A letter from France, my lord." "From France?" cried Buckingham, forgetting everything in thinking from whom that letter came. Felton took advantage of this moment, and plunged the knife into his side up to the handle. "Ah, traitor!" cried Buckingham, "you have killed me." "Murder!" screamed Patrick. Felton cast his eyes round for means of escape, and seeing the door free, he rushed into the next chamber, in which, as we have said, the deputies from La Rochelle were waiting, crossed it as quickly as possible, and rushed towards the staircase, but upon the first step he met Lord de Winter, who, seeing him pale, confused, livid, and stained with blood both on his hands and face, seized him by the throat, crying, "I knew it! I guessed it! But too late by a minute, unfortunate that I am." Felton made no resistance. Lord de Winter placed him in the hands of the guards, who led him, while awaiting further orders, to a little terrace commanding the sea, and then the Baroness turned to the Duke's chamber. At the cry uttered by the Duke, and the scream of Patrick, the man whom Felton had met in the antechamber rushed into the chamber. He found the Duke reclining upon a sofa, with his hand pressed upon the wound. "Laporte," said the Duke, in a dying voice, "Laporte, do you come from?" "Yes, Monseigneur," replied the faithful cloak-bearer of Anne of Austria, "but too late, perhaps."